Mr. President, I and my family extend to you our profoundest gratitude for my preferment to deliver the 171st Independence Day Oration. Men far more gifted in the business of speech have for decades performed this ritual. To be chosen to deliver this oration on this defining moment of national rediscovery is truly an honor for which I will forever remain indebted. We gather here today, nearly 6 months after the inauguration of a new president, who was charged with the responsibility to change that which has defied our beloved country for nearly a century and 3/4. Mr. President, I do not envy the awesomeness and difficulty of the challenge you have inherited. 24 men and a woman have occupied the Nigerian presidency, yet we as a country have not been able to bring social and economic justice to the majority of all of our people. This difficult task now rests squarely, fully, on the shoulders of the government. On the eve of these celebrations, some of our compatriots have even questioned the value of holding these ceremonies when the majority of our people remain jobless and when our economy is challenged. Those calling for cancellation appear to have reasonable arguments. Maybe not celebrating July 26 sends a louder and a bigger message that the Nigerian people want something different from their government, and that their government today cannot be business as usual. Maybe they are right. But there is a darker message for not holding these celebrations. If we didn't hold these celebrations, we as a people would be succumbing to our fears, our worst fears. We will be giving up on the ideals that inspired our country's founding. We will be showing that we are less than the sum of our fears. We are stronger and braver as a people. Mr. President, my fellow citizens, those who founded this country were men and women of ambition. If we lose faith in the capacity, capability, and possibilities of our government, if we turn to despair and fear, if we condemn ourselves to a repetition of historical tragedies that have defied us for ages, we would have betrayed the drive, ambition, and sacrifice that our founding fathers bequeathed to us 171 years ago. This is why, Mr. President, I have chosen to speak to my fellow compatriots on the subject, renewing that ambition that drove our nation's founding. The men and women who founded this country were made of ambition. They left the scourge of slavery to establish for themselves a society in which all would be free and equal. The dangerous journeys across the Atlantic did not scare them. The outbreak of disease like malaria did not daunt them. And the fierce and battle-hardened resistance from bands of brave tribal warriors did not prevent them. The ambition of building a new, a just, a free society remained the towering ideal. These invading settlers were met by patriotic tribal warriors, far more fearless and even braver in the defense of the native lands and tribal customs. Armed with indigenous and primitive weapons, they faced the guns and cannons of invading settlers, who were sometimes backed by the superior weapons of naval forces from the United States and Great Britain. These tribal warriors preferred death to surrendering their lands. Today, we Liberians inherit their valor. We inherit their bravery and ambition. We are brave because of them. July 26th is a celebration of their martyrdom. We should never forget about the heroism of these giants because we face challenges in our own time. And so, my fellow compatriots, our founding fathers, both settlers and tribal leaders, through many battles and prolonged rounds of diplomacy, inspired by men like King Sarboso Kamara, that first true Liberian diplomat, our fathers were able to proclaim to the world on July 26, 1847, the birth of a new republic. This proclamation is not important merely because it was the establishment of a new country. No. This proclamation is all the more significant because our Declaration of Independence occurred when the capacity of black people's self-government was in doubt in Europe and America. Black people were still perceived as less than humans, enslaved to work on farms and cotton fields. This is why our national anthem says, "We shout the freedom of a race united." The Oxford Dictionary defines benighted as being in a state of contemptible intellectual or moral ignorance. At our founding, this was the perception of the black race. And it was out of this precarious state of human misery that our founding settlers broke out to conjoin forces with their native brothers and sisters to proclaim the beginnings of our beloved country. So this is our founding, for which we shall forever remain proud. We are a people in endless search of the mastery of our destiny. The goal of our history is to give justice and equality to all our people. Mortal and highly flawed men and women will mount the political stage to pursue these ideals of our founding from time to time. We should separate events of national search from the ideal itself. It is true that men and women who have historically steered our national course have betrayed the founding ideal. And over the years, we have wasted these men with criticism. Because of their failures, we have always looked upon our past with disdain. Some Liberians would like to erase from their memory any recollection of our tragic histories of our past and pretend that we are starting a country afresh and anew. These feelings of anger, hatred, and rejection are quite justified. The mass of our people should never have been denied education for fear that their education would pose a threat to a governing elite who were in the minority. The Tweah Party clearly had the means to build more than 3,000 kilometers of broad paved roads for the duration of its stay at the helm of national leadership. The Tweah Party was certainly in the position to diversify our economy and build a thriving private sector in which Liberians would have been the titans of domestic production to win us away from our dependence on the export of raw materials. So Liberians are justified in their perennial criticism and anger. The same is true for the People's Redemption Council and the National Democratic Party of Liberia that followed the PRC during the 1980s. The abuse of human rights and the wanton misuse of the country's resources that characterized the 1980s were immediate drivers of our civil conflict. And of course, those who came to perfect the wrongs of the 1980s committed even more heinous and unconscionable wrongs that today haunt and burden our national psyche. So we can spend countless hours and pages bemoaning the lost opportunities of our history. Such an exercise is more useful when we are able to glean from the past the valuable lessons that can enable us to avoid the historical flaws. My fellow countrymen, the failure of history is not defined by the number of tragedies that happen. My fellow countrymen, the failure of history is not defined by the number of tragedies that happen. The failure of our history occurs when our past cannot inspire new energies, new ambition, new constructs and institutions that prevent the calamities of our history from reoccurring. Our history fails not because American Liberians suppressed their ethnic brothers and sisters for more than a century. Our history fails because even decades after the fall of the Tweah Party, the mass of Liberians still feel marginalized in their own country and have felt so when two men and a woman have held the Liberian presidency and when different national legislatures have been dominated by ethnic Liberians. Our history fails not because we rioted for rights on April 14, 1979. Our history fails because 39 years after President William R. Corbin Jr. tried to increase the price of rice to protect domestic rice production, we still are not able to feed ourselves and are totally dependent on imported rice. And so, my fellow Nigerians, as we ponder the historical significance of today and look back to our past, coming out of these reflections should be a new narrative. A narrative not merely of blame or of condemnation of the things that have gone wrong in our country. We should frame a new narrative of an ambitious people, restlessly renewing that ambition passed on to them by their founding fathers to perfect their views of history. Our history is rich with stories of bravery, daring, and ambition that should inspire all of us with new energies and momentum to face our future. Those who founded Liberia set out on the dark, bleak, and perilous course. All they had was the power of their conviction and the size of their national ambition. There were settlers who landed on the shores of Montreal, but who fled back because of the difficult conditions they encountered. The scourge of malaria took its toll upon them, but maybe they fled more because they feared the battle-hardened tribal warriors. Those who fled are the cowards of our history, the men and women we never knew about. Today, we read about Elijah Johnson and Jehuda Ashby. We know about King Zolu Duma and that skillful diplomat King Bosun Kamara, whose diplomacy between arriving settlers and resisting by Gola Day and Madingo warriors proved critical to our country's founding. We know about these heroes. We also read about Chief Swakogo, whose diplomacy, selflessness, and leadership enabled the expansion of Liberian government authority in northwest areas of Long, Lufa, and Lima. There is also Paramount Chief Noel Nema, the female paramount chief of the Para Chiefdom in Long County. Her lack of formal education proved no hindrance to her effective political leadership. She is widely remembered for promoting women participation in decision-making. She built schools, clinics, and roads. So the blood of courage, selflessness, daring, and ambition runs through the veins of our national cause. We see these traits in countless ordinary citizens. Imagine our mothers and sisters who brave the storms of poverty every day, standing for long hours on the market stalls and many times under the scorching rays of the sun to support their families. Deprived of education, they work through farming or selling daily to give education to their children. The education and progress of men and women of our generation did not happen because of the Liberian government. That education happened because of our unsung mothers and grandmothers. One such powerful grandmother was Emma Focky Claude Valley Brown, who would never allow her grandson to fail, even when he was rejected by his society. Born to extreme poverty on the rocks of Gibraltar, Cloudtown George Focky Claude Valley Bapupe Tape Kaino Maya had to live off the streets to make a living for himself. Inspired by his grandmother to face the atrocities of Liberian life, Tweah was able to lift himself up the bootstraps from the pangs of poverty. Like the founding fathers of his country, his path to success and achievement was never clear. Even in football, where he was naturally gifted, George Tweah was told that he would amount to nothing. Coaches told him he was either too slow or too lazy, or that he had to train much harder. Young George took all of these criticisms and admonitions in stride, patiently working hard to improve and master his footballing skills. Liberians soon saw that mastery through his brilliant performance on the national stage. While in high school, George Tweah made difficult decisions to leave school to advance his football career in Cameroon. Earlier, he had rejected a scholarship to the United States at a time when many Liberians dreamed endlessly of pursuing life in the US. Many criticized him for making these decisions, but brave and determined in his conviction, he ventured into Cameroon and broke through the national stardom. His path to France and Europe was subsequently paved. where he went on to become the greatest African footballer the world has ever seen, winning the world best football title in Liberia. Despite his football achievement, George Weah remained humble and true to his beginnings. The same selflessness displayed by Chief Swakoko and Chief Noah Limbu. He spent his fortune on Liberian national team and on his fellow countrymen, supporting schools, giving to charity and communities, and sponsoring countless number of students. During the dark days of the Liberian civil conflict, when blood spattered from beneath the land, George Weah was that shining star that beckoned to the possibilities of a new Liberian future amid the bleak darkness of the land. It was these attributes that endeared him the most, the patriots of a new generation of political ideologues and stalwarts who organized themselves under the banner of the Congress for Democratic Change to project George Weah as that mobilizing dynamic of a society in search of national transformation. His contributions to the Liberian political landscape have been legendary. Today, he is seated in these hallowed halls as President of the Republic. I salute you, sir. Your Excellency, for your outstanding achievements. Please permit me to join you in that inspired search for national meaning and healing. George Weah's achievements and the achievements of many other Liberians stand as a monument to the power and possibilities of Liberian dreams and ambition. The daring and ambition inherent in our founding exemplify themselves in many ways in our society. We should look to these for inspiration. Today, we stand at the crossroad that defines two paths in the forward march of our history. A path that sinks into the politics of hate, blame, and division, and a path that looks to the future of possibilities for all Liberians. The first path is widely traveled because it is easy, since it only requires the lazy art of condemnation and blaming. The second path is less traveled because it is too difficult, requiring people of ambition and national drive, determined to forge the bond of unity as we face the problems of our society. So which path should we as a people choose? Our only choice is obvious. As a result of the 2017 presidential elections, Liberians have chosen the path that is less traveled. In those elections, they rejected the politics of fear in favor of the politics of hope. Hope that a country can renew its founding ambition to overcome the big historical challenges that have confronted it for decades. It is in this spirit of unity and renewed national purpose that we are able to face our worst fears and biggest problems. No problem in Liberia is bigger than the problem of corruption. Corruption has been a root cause of the conflicts that have run through our history. This generation of Liberians and this new government must renew its pledge to fight and end corruption. The first step toward this goal is to abolish the culture of impunity that has surrounded the misuse of public funds. This means we have to give more teeth and meaning to anti-corruption institutions like the General Auditing Commission, the Liberian Anti-Corruption Commission, and the Internal Audit Agency. These institutions are the watchdogs that ensure we spend public resources for the benefit of all our people. Our new president has promised that under his leadership, those who misuse public funds will have no place in his government. Such persons must face the full weight of the law. This is certainly reassuring to all our countrymen and our development partners who will provide important resources for our national development. Many Liberians have demanded an audit of the previous government as well as the prosecution of former officials of government accused of squandering public funds. Toward this end, the new government must conduct a review of all audit reports with a view to implementing many of the recommendations contained in them. The government of President George Weah has committed to conducting this review, and this is encouraging. Whether the present government should spend scarce human and financial resources on going after former government or whether that government should focus on the big economic problems that burden our people is an interesting choice that must be made. It is very obvious that investing resources in preventing new acts of corruption and in the economic transformation of our country should be preferred. First, this approach minimizes the new government's exposure to accusations of witch hunting. To the search To the extent that evidence of such corrupt acts exists, delaying these prosecutions does not prevent the demanded prosecution from happening at some time in the future. A focus on past acts of corruption may be one means to restoring public faith in the credibility and possibility of our government. Another means is to use scarce public resources more effectively and efficiently to raise the living standard of the Nigerian people. The new government has already begun to use this latter approach. The government has added more than 2,000 healthcare workers to the national payroll in the 2018-2019 national program. This was possible because of the strong cooperation between the President and the National Legislature, led by House Speaker Buffalo Chambers and President Contemporary Abuchi. The collaboration that will be required to resolve even bigger problems and challenges that lie ahead. The meaning of this achievement is that financial resources in question can now have been committed to providing income for 2,000 Liberian families, and these resources are no longer available to be abused, misused, or wasted. The government, President Tweah, has to make this decision because the health food fund. He had to make this decision because the health food fund, which has been supported by some of our development partners over the last several years, is no longer available. And the government has placed these workers on the payroll at a time when our economy and fiscal space are challenged. The best time to have done this was 6 years ago, and the government was in a stronger financial position. But where the last government didn't achieve this, the present government has achieved it. This is an example of how we correct the past. We not only condemn that which was not achieved by past generations or past governments, we build on the gains they made and fix the problems that they were not able to fix. The second biggest challenge that our generation and this government have to resolve is the diversification of the Liberian economy. The Liberian economy has historically depended on the sale of raw materials like iron ore and rubber. This is not sustainable. Such dependence exposed the Liberian economy to massive economic shocks. In 2009, the price of iron ore per dry metric ton was US $181. Today, that price is around US $60 to $70. Similar price declines have affected the rubber sector. These price crashes have imposed severe economic squeeze on Liberians, decreasing government's ability to earn foreign exchange and putting downward pressure on the Liberian dollar. But these developments come as no surprise. More than 200 years of economic history show that commodity prices will always collapse. Despite this knowledge and history, the economies of African countries have always been tied to the price of exported raw materials. African governments have themselves to blame for this failure to diversify. In the end, it is sovereign states that are responsible for the ultimate direction of their societies. As commodity prices have collapsed over the last 60 or more years, African countries have always looked to the World Bank, the International Monetary Fund, the African Development Bank, the European Union for support, as well as other partners to build them out from the shock until price recovers. Our countries will have to break out of this vicious market economic cycle. All previous governments in Liberia have failed to unlock our economy from its historic dependence on commodity prices. This generation and this government must address the problem. Today, the depreciation of the Liberian dollar is rising, and rising inflation can be traced to this failure to diversify. A few politicians still smarting from defeat in the 2017 elections have recently tried to politicize what is a fundamental structural economic problem. And this is the very kind of politics that has destroyed our country. A destructive politics that has no place in the new national dispensation. A 6-month-old government can clearly not be expected to solve a problem most African governments have not been able to solve in 60 years. And to believe that Liberians, as smart as they are, can be misled into thinking that a 6-month-old government should solve a 60-year-old problem in 6 months is to think too low about Liberians. Our people know better than this, and they cannot be and should not be misled. In the last election, Liberians supported this president because they believe that he stands the greatest chance to change what has challenged us for generations. The government remains committed to stabilizing the present macroeconomic situation. The government, as recently announced in an economic speech by the president, has already begun putting in motion short-term measures to stabilize the situation. These measures include the infusion of $25 billion into the market to mop up excess liquidity. Other measures involve the more aggressive enforcement of monetary policy. While the loss of about $500 million in the Liberian economy is the main driver of the depreciation of the Liberian dollar, currency speculation in the foreign exchange market is partly to blame. The Central Bank of Liberia is developing other instruments to reduce the supply of money outside of banks. With large amounts of money outside the banks, monetary policy can be weak, as noted by President Tweah. This has been the case for the last 2 to 3 years. The steps the government has taken are in the right direction. The government is also taking strong measures to ensure any appreciation of the Liberian dollar as a result of these measures is reflected in the price of commodities. Recently, major petroleum importers agreed to reduce their price by $0.14 per gallon, as announced by President Tweah. This should impact transport fares, which should go down in the coming days. As part of this measure to reduce the burden on Liberians, the government recently reduced the import of several commodities in China. This reduction is estimated to cost the government about $14 to $20 million in lost revenue. But this is a sacrifice that this government is prepared to pay to bring short-term relief to the majority of our people. Again, all of these are intended to stabilize our macroeconomic in the short term as we move toward long-term solutions. The government in the next several weeks will launch its pro agenda for prosperity and development. All stakeholders are presently making their final input into the plan. The agenda provides for addressing Liberia's long-term structural economic problems. The plan will bring all actors in the Liberian economy together to address the problem of value addition and expansion of the private sector. The plan looks to invest in road infrastructure, aiming to pave more than 1,000 kilometers of road, which is about the length of road that has been paved in the past 171 years. The plan will transform agriculture as we know it and push the boundaries of domestic production far beyond the possibilities of the last several decades. Today, we import about 26 million bags of rice every year at a cost of about $110 million. Assuming a population of 4 million rice-eating Liberians, this amounts to about 6 bags of rice per person per year. We can grow this rice in Liberia. According to the experts, we have more than 600,000 hectares of land conducive for rice production. Studies show that with the right investment in the development of rice value chains, we can achieve food security over the next 6 years. This is one of the biggest solutions of the pro agenda for prosperity, one of the biggest ambitions of the agenda. But to achieve this goal will require Liberians to begin shifting their diet toward locally grown food and their preferences for locally manufactured products. The government will partner with the private sector and development partners to develop agricultural value chains in rice, cassava, vegetable, planting. In 1979, William R. Talbot Jr. attempted to increase the price on imported rice to protect domestic rice production. Politicians used this to incite demonstration. They accused Talbot of increasing the price on imported rice so that his domestic rice ventures could profit from the increase. Granted, this was true. Had this been possible, the Liberian economy would have benefited. The capacity to grow rice domestically would have been resident with Liberians, and the money generated from this production would have supported the domestic economy. Instead, what has emerged from this April 14 episode is the intrunement of imported rice as some kind of political commodity whose importation is largely in the hands of non-Liberians, largely because governments in the past have tended not to trust Liberians. This generation and this government must aim to disestablish the myth that imported rice is political commodity by moving swiftly to scaling up investment in domestic rice and food production. The government should work with key stakeholders in the private sector and development partners to achieve this outcome because it makes both macroeconomic sense and food security sense. Prior to the 1940s, the importation of rice was banned in Liberia. So we know Liberians have not always lived on imported rice. Once the means of transformative production are assured and the domestic market becomes competitive, the optimal economic policy would be to raise the tariff on imported rice to protect the domestic rice market. Under such a policy, rice importers would have the incentive to invest their monies and resources into growing rice here. Within the cash-strapped agricultural space, serious investments are needed to enable growers to add value to their products. Many Liberian oil growers today face the acute challenge of paying their workers because of the very uncompetitive nature of the current pricing structure. These growers need to add value, but doing so requires some capital investment, which is difficult to come by. The government is committed to working on this with them. My fellow Liberians, Mr. President, this brings us to the next big challenge that we have to solve over the next 6 years and the decades ahead. Developing Liberian human capital. Human capital development underpins our country's transformation. The nation is only as good as the quality of its human and institutional capabilities. The quality of our teachers, doctors, and engineers will have to change radically over the next several years. The number of substandard teachers providing instruction in schools is too large, but attracting higher quality teachers has serious cost implications. The 2018-2019 budget has absorbed some 2,000 healthcare workers. The fiscal space to take on 6,000 new teachers that are needed to close what has been called the teaching gap is not there. In the short term, taking on these teachers is possible with improvements in revenue performance and with further rationalization of the national budget. I will propose that the government launch a national service scheme to attract qualified college graduates to teaching field to address the quality challenge in secondary education. The Ministry of Education has already had a program to attract a small number of these college folks. We just have to blow this out. These graduates should be deployed in the most deprived areas in return for benefits such as scholarship for advanced degrees in low-cost countries. It is also important to overhaul the whole structure and foundation of government scholarship, linking scholarship to national service. As a matter of fact, students placing first at private and public high schools and at universities in this country should at least be given priority preference during the award of scholarship or of recruitment in the civil service. This approach provides some incentive for students to study harder. Scholarship should be for scholars willing to burn the midnight oil. We should all push our students to work harder and strive for excellence. There's need to launch a national after-school program that can focus on a range of subjects. These programs can compete with centers of gambling and gaming that now attract our young people from productive focus on their schoolwork. The government, development partners, and non-governmental organizations should work together to develop and sustain such a program. We should work to strengthen quality college and university education. Quality challenges at higher institutions could be addressed by reintroducing the pre-war Fulbright program that existed at the University of Liberia, or some version of that program. India, for example, has competitive advantage in the supply of quality education. Indian professors could be brought in to show up medical and pharmacy schools, as well as the lab, engineering, technology, and economics departments at state-run and private universities. This can be done at affordable cost as a package of quality reforms for tertiary education. In exchange, Liberian instructors at these universities can be given scholarships to pursue advanced degrees. The government should continue to focus on the delivery of TVET, partnership with German technical vocational institutions, improve the quality of institution at TVET, of instruction at TVET institutions across the country, to enable the country to provide skills and jobs for our young people. Unless Liberia is able to provide competitive skills for the majority of its young people, we face a national security risk arising from the failure to meet the employment needs of our young people. Huge possibilities lie in the agricultural space, where the majority of young people can find gainful employment and to move the sector toward value addition. While we acknowledge many young people may lack skills, we also know that many of them have had some form of training. Despite this outcome, young people remain challenged. The government is advised to develop a policy that links every ongoing project in the country with existing TVET institutions. Such a policy can require project managers on these projects to hire at least one Liberian youth trained in the relevant or related skill area. As part of this youth employment drive, the government and development partners should increase their support to programs supporting the employment and employability of our young brothers and sisters. The excuse that young people do not have skills should not be blindly accepted. We see the beginnings of the emergence of the young Liberian entrepreneurial class. Many of the stores and businesses in Ganta today in my county are owned by young Liberians. Liberians are looking to the private sector as a major source of employment. All they need is a big push from their government. They will have this push from this government and from Tweah. A major way to enhance the youth development agenda is to pay attention to what is happening to our young women. The challenge they face is even more significant and has direct causal linkages to poverty. The average young girl who drops out of school will go on to have a child that is more than likely to be poor. There are many gender indicators that we can talk about over the next several years. If we cannot achieve any of them, our society must ensure that we prevent young women from dropping out of school and from getting pregnant while in junior high. The other historically unsolved problem is the land challenge. Land disputes have been and are still rife in our country. Communities are still locked in disputes with agricultural concessions on the question of land ownership. We should address this problem, and we should do so fast. The passage of the new Land Act is a promising beginning, but we cannot rest on the laurels of any such new law. We must reach out to all our people throughout the country to drive home the importance of land for economic productivity. Agriculture concessions need all the land they can have to scale up their investment and provide the needed jobs to support our economy. If we are to do value addition in the oil palm sector, for example, the companies will have to plant more trees, and this is not possible when they do not have land. Yes, the awarding of these contracts was fraught with problems, but this is where we are. Maybe part of the problem is that our people do not trust that the proceeds of these investments will matter for them at all. These are the consequences of the prolonged neglect and marginalization of our people. This new government must reach out to develop a compact with our people and assure them that these concessions are for their ultimate benefit. Members of the national legislature can play an important role in this transformation. It is very clear that considering the state of our economy and the fiscal constraints we face, no government, including the present government, will be able to solve all of the problems that have burdened Liberia over the past 171 years. Each problem demands a certain amount of resources that will not be available to solve other problems. Using loans and budget support grants for road construction means these resources are no longer available to support programs in health, education, or agriculture. This is the complex business of government, which is always about choosing and prioritizing. And this business is even more complex in a country called Liberia. In health, should we put more resources in prevention to reduce the disease burden of the future, or do we continue with an emphasis on curing diseases? In education, should we prioritize math, science, and language teachers more, since these are the foundational subjects? The societies and economies that are transformed in the face of resource constraints are those that master the art of balancing development priorities. Mr. President and my fellow countrymen, Liberia was not able to meet any of the Millennium Development Goals in the last 15 years, from 2000 to 2015. While the country did appear to be on a solid path with economic growth, nearing 9% around 2013, the market economic collapse that followed, along with the onset of Ebola, eliminated whatever gains that have been made. This again makes the point for diversifying our economy. If we are to avoid the same situation with the Sustainable Development Goals, we have to pay attention to addressing the big challenge of value addition. If we collectively confront the menace of corruption and ensure that scarce development resources are spent on the majority of our people, we will make a big difference in impacting the lives of Liberians. The fight against corruption should not be limited to official government circles. It should be prominent in schools, clinics, in traffic, and in places of worship. Teachers who extort bribes from students should be banned from entering the classroom. If we diversify our economy, empower the private sector, and resolve our land challenge, we would place our economy on a sure path of sustainable development. Considering our very vulnerable economic situation, our strategic approach to growing the private sector should bring all stakeholders around the table. The private sector comprises foreign-owned companies and Liberian-owned businesses. Pro-Liberian business strategies need not imply opposition to foreign business interests. In our rush to diversify our economy, we should not scare away those who have sustained the foundation of our economy even before we have the ability and capacity to manage it. Members of the executive and legislative branches of government are encouraged to find means to work with companies in Liberia as we diversify our economy. Inflammatory and violent rhetoric may threaten the short-term foundation of the Liberian economy. Pro-poor economic strategies are not anti-business strategies, and President Tweah has made this point in the past. But businesses are expected to play by the rules and pay their fair share of the bargain. For example, when government reduces tariff on commodities, consumers expect to see this reflected in the price of the affected product. These outcomes should be achieved by aggressive enforcement to ensure that businesses get their fair share in profits and consumers do not receive the end of the bargain in the form of higher prices. The economic policies that will come out of the new development plan will aim to provide strong incentive to move the Liberian economy toward competitive domestic production. I believe many import-oriented entrepreneurs will respond to these incentives to make the necessary investments in domestic production. In the immediate short term, this government should use the power of the national budget to empower local productive sectors through buy local policies. The seriousness of this policy should attract investment to sectors such as agriculture and the timber and rubber areas. It is worth noting that many of these policies were announced by the previous government. The difference now is that we as a people and a government will have to make it happen over the next several years. But we cannot do these things alone, considering the difficult solutions, the challenges we face. This is where we have to turn to our bilateral and multilateral development partners to recast our relations with them in the context of diversifying our economy and empowering the private sector. Our development partners have stood with Liberia over the years, and we should thank them massively for raising Liberia from the arches of war and taking us on the path to development. The government has promised to develop a new partnership framework with development partners. The aim of this partnership framework should be to ensure that the big priority challenges that the country faces are addressed in order to achieve real pro-poor results. One area of particular interest is working together to reverse recent declines in the business climate, as measured through the World Bank's Doing Business Index. Improving Liberia's ranking can be accomplished through a dedicated tax team comprising actors from the private sector. Strengthened development partnership and coordination can deliver big results for economic transformation and macroeconomic stability. Where the outcome of this cooperation were challenged in the past, the approach going forward should be to make it work now. Political parties and politicians do have a role, a very serious role, to minimize the politics of pettiness that aims to score trivial political points. There are really no points to score against a government that is barely 6 months old. The election cycle is 6 years long. The politics of macroeconomics can be dangerous for political stability. We already know this from April 14 history. Aiming to raise the political temperature against a party that is grounded in the masses is not a prudent politics. The prudent course is that which was introduced by Ambassador George Manawia after his loss in the 2011 elections. With the mass of Liberians fully behind him, George Tweah could have exploited his populism and popularity to undermine the Liberian state and the government of President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. Quite to the contrary, he took the patriotic path and announced an opposition policy of constructive engagement. This was why he accepted to become the National Peace Ambassador, working overtime to unify his country. When elements of the Congress of Democratic Change were involved in the radical Ellen step-down campaign some years ago, it was George Tweah who abolished that campaign, arguing that elections have consequences and people elected should be given the chance to govern. Members of the opposition are advised to take similar course because in reality, the elections are long over and governance has begun. Elections are a fight for political legitimacy in the matters of governance. The conferrer of legitimacy after an electoral victory does not mean the loser is hopeless. No winning party has a monopoly on ideas in the matters of public governance. The opposition are and should be invited to bring their perspectives for the betterment of our country. They are encouraged to bring their investment and their projects for the transformation of Liberia. In the spirit of overcoming our historic challenges and building anew, maybe we begin with a government-opposition dialogue in the next coming days. Let us all abandon the politics of bewitching our country evil because we are not in power. Let us all abandon the politics of bewitching our country evil because we are out of political power. This is the old politics that drains the blood of our country. And President Tweah made this point quite recently. A governing party is only as good as the condition it inherits from a former ruling party. At least in the first 6 months. The CDC is only as good as the condition it inherited from the Unity Party in the first 6 months. Even this country giant can now wave a magic wand and restore macroeconomic stability in 6 months. Members of the media too should get beyond the election. The media has an important role in the democracy and the government is under obligation to respect this role. Our country has made significant strides in the protection of press freedom, and this tradition should and will continue. And I thank you, Madam, for giving us this legacy. So while media institutions have patriotic responsibility to speak truth to political power, that truth must be true. The persistent reporting of non-truths is a great disservice to democracy and to our country. A disservice to democracy because the public will soon perceive such a newspaper or news outlet engaged in this practice as a propaganda machinery set against the government. And when such a paper or media outlet is then needed to expose governmental wrongs when they do in fact occur, the paper will no longer be trusted, and this undermines the very process of journalism. Also, unfounded and untruthful media reporting is a disservice to the country because it is flat out wrong to mislead foreigners and others about happenings in our country. The entire country should not suffer because the journalist has a beef with a particular government official. And so, Mr. President and my fellow Liberians, our collective ambitions and drive over the next several decades will determine what country we will have. The veteran Liberian journalist G. Henry Andrews once said that no society can ever be better than the people that comprise it. You show me a fearful, divided, and faithless people, I gave you a vanquished and defeated people. You show me a brave and courageous men and women riding the tidal national wave of ambition, rousing a nation long for long to global destiny. I gave you a people called Liberians. We as a people were born to proclaim the possibilities of African self-government. We were at the founding of the United Nations in the Organization of African Unity, now African Union, and hosted its annual meeting in 1979. We were at the founding of the African Development Bank. We inspired the formation of the Mansion-Liberia Union and the Economic Community of West African States. It was President William D. Stanton who proposed an economic union of West Africa. The beacon of black self-government, we did battle alongside our black compatriots in South Africa to dismantle the gargoyle of apartheid. We were a haven for peoples all over Africa, Sudanese, Ethiopians, Gambians, Ghanaians, and many more, even long before they opened their doors to our people fleeing the collapse of our nation state. We are greater than the sum of our fears and can only look back at the scourges of our history, whose themes inspire the cries and shouts of freedom and change that will mark the next 100 years to be fundamentally, radically different than the last. May God Almighty bless our great country of this resource.
Let's give our national orator another hand of applause. Oration. You may have a seat. There will be the conferral of distinction by His Excellency. Citation by the President. Honorable Samuel D. Tweah, Jr., Minister of Finance and Development Planning, distinguished economist and dedicated public servant. July 26, 2018. You were born on May 6, 1971, unto the blessed union of Mr. Samuel D. Tweah Sr. and Mary Taylor Williams in Maryland County, Liberia. You acquired your early education at the St. Paul Episcopal Elementary School and later matriculated to the William D.S. Tutman High School in Monrovia, from where you obtained a diploma in 1993. In your quest to pursue a professional career, you gained admission at the University of Liberia and graduated with Bachelor of Arts degree in Economics and Mathematics in 2001, magna cum laude. Later, you earned a master's degree in economics from George Washington University in Washington, D.C., United States of America. Upon your return to Liberia, you worked as the lead economic consultant at the Ministry of Planning and Economic Affairs to cast the agenda for transformation undertaken by the government of President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf in 2011. Subsequently, you were hired as the economist of the National Millennium Compact Development Project which enabled Liberia to receive the MCC grant that financed the rehabilitation of the Mount Coffee hydroelectric dam. Your dedication, loyalty, and unwavering commitment to service, particularly the high standard of excellence, enabled you to serve as senior advisor to the executive director of the African Development Bank for the constituency comprising the Gambia, Ghana, Liberia, Sierra Leone, and the Sudan. Also, you have become known and credited for your passion and advocacy for Africa's development. You will be remembered as a true nationalist who remarkably exhibited competence, intelligence, dignity, and respect at all levels of your service to the state of Liberia. Now, therefore, in consideration of your enormous contributions to the cause of humanity, especially for the economic development of Liberia, I, George Tweah, President of the Republic of Liberia, by virtue of the authority in me invested as Grand Master of the Orders of Distinction of the Republic of Liberia, do hereby admit you, Samuel D. Tweah Jr., into the humane order of African redemption and confer upon you the grade of Knight Great Band. Wear this insignia with pride and dignity to the glory of God. Accept my congratulations. Thank you.